Hi everybody, Patrick Pruett again here from the Holmes-Pruett Homes team, bringing another edition of Real Estate in Nashville to you. And today I'm really excited to talk with Darbi Bolton, who is the co-founder and general manager of Stay Local Nashville, which is also part of the Berkshire Hathaway Woodmont Realty network here in Nashville. And a lot of you, if you're like me, have known all about the short-term rental market, the vacation rental by owner, Airbnb, and there are others. And as I start thinking about the short-term rentals, I have all sorts of questions about it. It's constantly changing. So many people are renting their houses, their condos, their townhomes, and lots of people are investing in STRs as well. So I really wanted to sit down with Darbi and ask some questions and give you some information that I think would be helpful if you're contemplating a short-term rental yourself or looking for an investment opportunity. There's a great return, an ROI when it comes to short-term rentals as well. So with that, Darbi, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope I can bring some new information to the table. We'll see.
There's no doubt.
I'm sure I'll bring more questions than not, but it's okay.
We're gonna learn a lot, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with Darbi today.
100%.
I guarantee you that.
So short-term rental, for anybody that doesn't really know and understand that concept, you could live in your own home and you could travel for work, you could travel on your own vacation, and you could turn around and decide to list your home for rent on these platforms, and you could actually basically sublet it to someone else to come in, stay in your house, use your stuff, or not. It could also be an investor coming in and buying a property, outfitting that property to meet the needs of that particular city and what kind of tourism is happening there. In the event that no one noticed, we do have bachelorettes and bachelor parties that frequent Nashville a lot. So looking at that, like the larger properties for the investors, it's huge because, you can rent it out to 12 girls, 12 guys, and they fly in Friday and they leave on Sunday, and they've had the time of their life. And they pay a lot of money. They do, and it's really wild. But honestly, I feel like the core reason why it works so well in Nashville in particular is because we don't have affordable hotels that are decent. And then you look at it and you go, well, why would somebody pay $1,200 a night to book this giant property on Airbnb? That's insane. Well, it sleeps 12 people. That's $100 a night per person. And you get a common space, you get a rooftop deck, you get all these other amenities for people to go hang out in. If you book that one hotel room, at best you got a queen size bed, a nightstand, and another queen size bed. You've shoved 4 people in one room, and they're all using one bathroom, and then you got to get multiple rooms. And you don't have the common space. You don't have that, that whole. That's why people travel together. They travel together to do body shots and hang out. So it works really well just because honestly I feel like it is the price per head in beds kind of thing in Nashville.
Once upon a time, if you wanted to rent out your home, or you were an investor, you could just go and apply, get what was required to be able to do it. It's much more regulated now than just about anything else around. Can you explain kind of the history of the regulations and what's happening now?
You're either owner occupied or you are not owner occupied. So owner occupied, you physically reside in the property, you're claiming it as your primary residence. Great examples would be your driver's license would be addressed to that, your voter registration would be addressed to that, you're filing taxes there. Like, you look and smell like you are a primary resident in that particular property. Almost every single property, with the exception of one with an HOA in place, is eligible for that. So think of all the single family homes. Those are usually, for the most part, 99% of those are owner occupied. Then you've got non-owner occupied. Non-owner occupied is strictly investor. That's investor permits. People come in, maybe they do live here, maybe it's a second home. It's not your primary residence. So it's actually an investor type of permit.
For investors that are purchasing an STR, what would you say are the 2 or 3 most important things that they really need to think about as they are deciding on where to invest or what to invest in?
I would say most people go to location, and I don't always go to location. Location's great, and it definitely helps. But for me, it's really about, I go back to who's going to be booking your property. And that's going to be the bachelorettes, the bachelor parties, larger groups of families that are traveling and they all want to stay together. In Metro Nashville, we do have a cap on the number of people you're allowed to rent to for one stay. And that is a 4-bedroom home means 12 people. So if you see a 4-bedroom home that's listed out there, or even a 5-bedroom home that's listed out there, it's listed illegally. If you see anything out there listed with more than 12 people in the home, it's listed illegally and it is in violation. So if you think about that and you cater to how do I need to build this 4-bedroom home out in order to get as many real beds in that property? No pull-out couches, no air mattresses, all like real beds. We're talking, make your master bedroom, don't put a king size bed in there. Make it look like a hotel room, a queen size bed, a nightstand, and a queen size bed. They don't have a problem with that at a hotel. They're not gonna have a problem with it there at this Airbnb.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you just now put 4 people in one room. That's awesome. Where do we put the other 8 people? Like, let's find other places, you know? It really comes down to the property, and then lately, in the last 3 years, decor. Your staging. Don't try to do this cheap. Don't try to buy stuff on Amazon and put it together yourself with a stupid little Allen wrench. Hire a designer. Do accent walls. Like, make it matter. And if yours stands out and you've got, a selfie wall or something that says Nashville on it, oh my God. Like, you just take a picture of that. But yeah, it's really about the larger properties and how they're set up right, and the decor, for sure.
What types of returns are we talking about? We're talking about ROI.
Yep.
I've got a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom unit. What can I expect if I'm investing in a STR?
That is the loaded question of the hour.
I come fully loaded.
You do. You never disappoint, sir. You do not. The 1-bedrooms, typically, they gross anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Usually a 2-bedroom kind of hovers around, honestly, about the same price, believe it or not. And then a 3-bedroom, depending on how big it is, how it's set up, all that kind of stuff. 3-bedrooms can actually do fairly well sometimes, and those actually gross anywhere from $6,500, sometimes even $8,000 a month. But the 4-bedrooms are where it's at. 4-bedrooms, those literally, a bad month will be $7,500. Up to, we even have some
and
that.
You say $7,500 gross
Per month.
Back out your
mortgage
expenses.
and your utilities. Yep. Totally. And then usually you end up with probably anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month on average of just sheer profit. We do have quite a handful of properties that actually gross about in between $14,000 to $16,000 a month.
Wow.
And it's intense. Yeah, their net is anywhere from, depending on the month, anywhere from 10 to 14.
Wow.
And it's crazy.
What's the difference between a corporate rental versus a short-term rental?
Yeah, totally, absolutely, yeah. So three different types of rentals. Obviously, we've hit on the short-term rental. Then you've got what everybody knows and is familiar with, the 12-month lease to a tenant. It's it's not fully furnished. They're paying their own utilities, all that kind of stuff. That's a long-term rental. The hybrid between the two is that corporate rental. To meet laws and regulations and do this properly, you actually have to, so it is fully furnished and utilities are included in this particular type of rental, but you have to rent to somebody for 31 days or more to the same person. Not 30 days, not 29 days, 31 days or more to the same person. They come in and sometimes they'll stay for 6 weeks, sometimes they'll stay for 6 months, and they just pay in full up front. And they move in, and it's great. And the coolest thing that we have seen happen over this insane real estate market that's blown up even more than it was before, is that people are having a very hard time getting a home under contract for them to purchase and move into for themselves.
Yeah.
And they either A, they don't want to stay in a hotel, or B, they can't afford to stay in a hotel because it's extremely expensive. These particular types of rentals stay slam booked. They do. Because the people need a place to stay. They need to be able to say, hey, I'm here, I'm moving here, I need to buy a house, I am then looking to rent this place for 90 days. And they'll just lock down a lease and they'll pay in full, and it's awesome.
So if I'm interested in doing it, what's the process that I go through? What's the first step that I take?
Take a shot of tequila. That's That's the first one, 100%, and then take another one.
Yeah.
As far as like the permitting process goes and going through all that, so another misconception is most people, you cannot apply for your permit until you close on the property.
Okay.
But the biggest misconception is that, oh, well, I'll close and then I'll start my permitting process. Spend your 4 or 5 weeks that you're under contract working on your permit. So then whenever you close, all you need is your signed warranty deed showing that's transferred ownership, because Metro's not going to get notice of that for 6 or 8 weeks in their system. And then get your updated insurance that's in place, because now you own the place, and then you can go apply for it within 48 hours of closing. That's huge to be able to do that. So the process is very loaded. There are 3 major steps to it. The first step is by far the hardest. It involves things like you need floor plans of the property, where all the smoke detectors are located, doors, windows. Your windows have to be a certain size for egress. You then have to send certified letters to all adjacent properties. If there is an adjacent property that's across the street, that's an apartment complex, pew pew, congratulations. I mean, it's very loaded, but and you're not asking them for permission, you're just notifying them that this property is going to be doing this.
So I don't have to get permission from that multi.
You definitely don't at all. Yeah. Once you get all of your things together, which is probably about 12 or 14 different items that you need to have together, like 2 proofs of residency. You have to prove that they're not just going to believe you. You have to show them that you actually reside in that property if you're getting an owner-occupied permit. Things like that. Once you get everything together, which you can work on throughout your contract, then you go and you go to closing, you grab your signed warranty deed, you grab your updated insurance, you've got one cute little package, and then you send it off to Metro, and that's step 1. Then you wait, and at that point you do lots of tequila shots because they're so backed up, they take about 4 weeks to get back to you. And so then at that point, during those 4 weeks, you're working on staging your property, getting it all set up and ready to go that way, working with your management company to make sure they have the information they need, like your Wi-Fi info, your air filter sizes, like all down to the granular little details of what's going on. Then Metro responds to you and says, hey, your application, not your permit, your application has been approved. You're going to move on to the next phase, which is the fire marshal. Fire marshal then comes out usually within 7 to 10 days, and they do a walkthrough on the property, and they'll test all your smoke detectors, making sure they're interconnected. You set one off, they all go off. They will open and close all your windows, making sure they will measure your windows. Do not think they won't. And sometimes they will fail an entire property just on one window. And then you have 90 days to fix it, and they'll come back out for a re-inspection for extra money, of course.
Wow. Of course.
Yeah, but assuming that all goes well, because it normally does with the fire marshal, you then pass the fire marshal inspection, and that's step 2. Step 3 is then you pay for your permit. So at that point, once you pay for your permit, you're good to go. And then you can legally be listed online within 24 hours.
And then you can do it all yourself.
Yep.
And lots of people do.
Yep.
Or choose a manager for your property, which makes it a lot smoother.
Yes.
I imagine.
Yes, definitely.
Given all the hoops and regulations and things, because if you misstep along the way, I imagine a permit can be pulled.
Imagine if you had 12 things to turn into Metro Nashville. You think you have all 12, and you think you have them done correctly. And you turn it in and you've waited 4 weeks, and they don't say your permit or your application has been approved. Your application has been rejected. Now you got to start over again. You need to actually make sure that your certified letters, because they expire after 90 days. Do you need to recertify letters? Are they still good? What do you need to fix? And then you submit it for approval again and wait another 4 weeks. So it's very, very, very important to really get it right from the very beginning.
Yeah. And then when you actually have the property, you've got it on Airbnb or Vrbo.
Yep.
You can manage it all yourself and find the tenants and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Again, turn to Stay Local and have it done for them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. You're exactly right. It's totally right. Yep. Most people sometimes will even say, I'd like to manage it myself. And we're like, great, call me in 6 months.
Yeah.
And they do. They do. And I kind of appreciate that, because then they understand and appreciate what we deal with on a daily basis. And it's like, you now understand what you're paying for and what you're actually getting for that. It's pretty wild.
There's a reason why you're able to do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks so much, Darbi.
Thank you.
This was fun.
I know, it's great. I know.
Thanks so
Me
much.
too. No, thank you. I appreciate it.